A very blessed week to all of you. I will give thanks to the Lord because of His righteousness. During the season, make time to reflect on what God has done in your life. We would have been going through a lot of things in life and we feel we don't deserve it. But amidst every circumstance, always remember that our God is good and just. He cares for you and has done great things for you, and He has also got good things in store for you. Let's learn to be thankful in every situation, whatever it may be. We have come to the fag end of the year, the 12th month. We are going to see a new year, 2021. So let's keep praising and thanking God for all the things that He has done for us during this year. God bless. Types of planning. 11.8, page number 248. So what do you mean by economic planning? Economic planning is a process under which attempts are made to achieve desired targets of economic development within a specified period of time. So planning is a process. It is a process to achieve the desired objective goals and targets towards economic development within a specified period. So there are different types of planning. Each country adopts a different type of planning. The types of planning are democratic versus totalitarian, planning by direction versus inducement, short, medium, and long-term planning, functional versus structural planning, centralized versus decentralized planning, indicative versus imperative planning, financial versus physical planning, and comprehensive and partial planning. So let us see about the planning in detail. So what do you mean by totalitarian? Total control is by the government. This is a form of rule in which the government attempts to maintain total control over society, including all aspects of the public and private lives of its citizens. So the government takes total control over the society and all the aspects of the public and the private lives of the citizens. So there is no freedom for the people in this type of planning. Democratic planning. Democratic planning implies planning within democracy. Planning within democracy is called as democratic planning. So here people are associated at every step in the formulation and implementation of the plan. So people are involved while formulating the plan as well as while implementing the plan. People are involved in every step. A democratic plan is characterized by the widest possible consultation with the various state governments and private enterprises at stage of the preparation. The plan prepared by Planning Commission is not accepted as such. The plan is not accepted as such. It can be accepted, rejected, or modified by the parliament of the country. So the plan can be accepted as it is, or it can be modified, or it can also be rejected by the parliament. Under totalitarian planning, there is central control and direction of all economic activities in accordance with a single plan. The planning is controlled by the Central Planning Authority. Consumption, production, exchange, and distribution are controlled by the state. Planning authority is the supreme body. The planning authority decides about the targets, schemes, allocation, and implementation of the plan. So the target is decided by the planning authority, the scheme, the allocation, and implementation of the plan is done by the Central Planning Authority. Centralized versus decentralized plan. Under centralized planning, the entire planning process in a country is under the control of the central planning authority. So everything is under the control of the central planning authority. This authority only formulates a central plan. It fixes the objectives, targets, and priorities for every sector of the economy. So the central planning authority only formulates the plan, it fixes the objectives and targets and the priorities for every sector of the economy. In other words, it is also called as planning from above. Decentralized planning. Under this planning, the local organization and institutions formulate, adopt, and execute and also supervise the plan without any interference by the central planning authority. Here, freedom is given to the local organization, the local governments, the institutions. They only formulate the plan. They supervise the plan and they also execute the plan without any disturbance from the central planning authority. This type of planning is called as planning from below. This can be asked as one-mark question. What is the other name for centralized planning? Or what is the other name for planning from below? You must be able to give the answer. Next is direction versus inducement planning. The word itself says direction. The government gives the direction, or the central planning gives the direction to the people as to how to go about with the execution of the plan. The central planning authority plans, directs, and orders the execution of the plan with predetermined targets and priorities. So under planning by direction, there is a central authority. They only plan, they direct, and the orders of execution of the plan in accordance with the predetermined targets and priorities. Under planning by inducement, the people are induced to act in a certain way through monetary and fiscal measures. So what do you understand here? The people are motivated or encouraged to act in a particular way through the various policies, the monetary policy as well as the fiscal policy. If the planning authority wishes to encourage the production of a commodity, it can give subsidy to the firms. If the planning authority feels that the commodity produced by a particular firm is very essential and it gives welfare to the people, they can encourage such a sector by giving them subsidy. மானியம் கொடுத்து அவங்களை என்ன பண்ணலாம், என்கரேஜ் பண்ணலாம். இப்போ ஸ்கூலில் ஒருவேளை ஒரு எக்ஸாம் முடிஞ்ச பிறகு நாங்கள் எப்படி உங்களை மோட்டிவேட் பண்ணுறோம், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க் கேர்ள்ஸ்க்கு மேலே வந்து ஹெட் மிஸ்ட்ரஸ் பேட்ஜ் கொடுத்து ஒரு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரேங்க் பேட்ஜ் கொடுக்குறாங்க. அப்போது it is a kind of subsidy only. It encourages the girls to study well. Likewise, the government also encourages production by giving them certain subsidy. Thus, planning by inducement is able to achieve the same result as under planning by direction, but with less sacrifice of individual liberty. Here, people are given liberty to do certain things and they are encouraged. But here you do not get any freedom. Next is indicative versus imperative planning. Indicative planning is peculiar to mixed economies. It is seen only in mixed economies. What do you mean by mixed economies? The coexistence of public sector and the private sector is called as a mixed economy. India is a mixed economy and in India we follow the indicative planning. It has been in practice in France since the Monnet Plan of 1947 to 50. So initially this planning was seen in France. So in a mixed economy, the private sector and the public sector work together. Under this plan, the outline of plan is prepared by the government. The government only prepares or it gives the outline for the plan. Then it is discussed with the representatives of the private management, trade unions, consumer groups and other experts. So the outline is given by the government and later on they discuss it with all the representatives from the private sector, the trade unions, the consumers and other experts. The state provides all types of facilities to the private sector. Private sector are also encouraged to take part in the economic development of the country. The state does not force the private sector but just indicate the areas of operation and targets to be fulfilled. So the public sector, the government motivates the private sector. They just give them they don't force them, but they give them the targets to be fulfilled. In short, the planning procedure is soft and flexible. So the plan is very soft and it is also flexible. All the planning procedure is soft and flexible. Under imperative planning, the state is all powerful in preparation and implementation of the plan. Just the opposite of this. The state is the most powerful in preparing and implementing the plan. Once a plan is drawn up, its implementation is a matter of enforcement. After the plan is drawn, they just enforce it. They have to follow it. The USSR President Stalin used to say, our plans are our instructions. So plan only gives the guidelines. Planning only gives instructions to them. So this was what said by the USSR President Stalin. There is no consumer sovereignty because there is complete control over the entire resources by the state. The state only controls everything. So there is no freedom for the consumers. The government policies and procedures are rigid. ரிஜிட்னா என்னது, மாற்றி அமைக்கவே முடியாது. என்ன பிளான் எழுதியிருக்காங்களோ அதை என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, அதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணி ஆகணும், ஸ்ட்ரிக்டாக ஃபாலோ பண்ணி ஆகணும். அதான் ரிஜிட்னா என்னது, ஸ்ட்ராங், இட் கேனாட் பி சேஞ்ச்ட். சைனா அண்ட் ரஷ்யா ஃபாலோ திஸ். இது வந்து இந்தியா ஃபாலோஸ் திஸ் டைப் ஆஃப் பிளானிங். ஹியர் சைனா அண்ட் ரஷ்யா ஃபாலோ திஸ் டைப் ஆஃப் பிளானிங். தென் வி ஹாவ் த ஷார்ட், medium and long-term planning. Short-term plans are also known as controlling plans. They encompass the period of 1 year. It is for a period of 1 year. Therefore, they are also known as annual plans. Yearly once they do this plan. That's why it is called as 1-year plan or annual plans. Then we have the midterm plans. They last for 3 to 7 years. But normally, the midterm plan is made for the period of 5 years. The medium-term planning is not only related to allocation of financial resources, but also physical resources. Financial means resources given in terms of money is called as financial resources. In terms of the materials or the machinery or the men available, then it is called as physical resources. So India follows this type of planning, 5-year planning. Then we have the long-term planning. Long-term plans last for a period of 10 to 30 years. They are also called as perspective planning. Basic philosophy is to bring structural changes in the economy. They change the socio-economic structures in a country. Next, we have the financial versus physical planning. Financial planning refers to the technique of planning in which resources are allocated in terms of money. ஸோ இங்கே இருக்க ரிசோர்ஸஸ் எல்லாத்தையும் எப்படி கொடுக்குறாங்க, இன் டேர்ம்ஸ் ஆஃப் மணி கொடுப்பாங்க. தென் இட் இஸ் கால்ட் அஸ் ஃபினான்ஷியல் ரிசோர்ஸஸ். Physical planning pertains to the allocation of resources in terms of men, material and machinery. Availability of resources is measured, men எவ்வளவு, மெட்டீரியல் எவ்வளவு, மெஷினரி எவ்வளவு, இதை பேஸ் பண்ணி பிளான் பண்ணுறது இது கால்ட் அஸ் physical planning. Functional versus structural planning. Functional planning refers to that planning which seeks to remove economic difficulties by directing all the planning activities within the existing economic and social structure. All the difficulties, economic difficulties are removed by planning within the existing economic and social structures. எந்த விதமான மாற்றத்தையும் கொண்டு வராம, அடிப்படை வசதிகளில் எந்த விதமான மாற்றத்தையும் கொண்டு வராமல் பிளான் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பேர் தான் இது ஃபங்க்ஷனல் பிளானிங். ஸ்ட்ரக்சரல் வந்து த பேசிக் framework in a country is changed. The structural planning refers to a good deal of changes in the socio-economic framework of a country. This type of planning is adopted mostly in underdeveloped countries. So this type of planning is adopted by underdeveloped countries. இது வந்துட்டு இந்த டெவலப் கண்ட்ரிஸ், ஏன்னா ஏற்கனவே அவங்க வந்து நல்லா டெவலப் ஆகி அவங்களுடைய நல்ல இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர்லாம் நல்லா இருக்குது. ஸோ அந்த இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சரை வச்சுக்கிட்டே அவங்க பிளானிங் பண்ணுறதுக்கு பேர் தான் இந்த ஃபங்க்ஷனல் பிளானிங். ஸ்ட்ரக்சரல் பிளானிங் அடிப்படை infrastructure complete எல்லாத்தையும் சேஞ்ச் பண்ண வேண்டியதாக இருக்குது. The entire framework of the country can also be changed in structural planning. Last, we have the comprehensive versus partial planning. General planning, which concerns itself with the major issues for the whole economy. Economy உள்ள எல்லா செக்டார்ஸ்க்கும் பிளான் பண்ணுறது is called as comprehensive planning. Or planning for the entire economy or for the whole economy is called as comprehensive. Partial na என்னது, ஒரு செக்டாருக்கு மட்டும் பிளானிங் பண்ணுறது is called as partial. Whereas partial planning is to consider only the few important sectors of the economy. So these are the various types of planning. This is a very, very important question. We have one question at the back. Question number 36. Discuss the different types of planning. If this question is asked, you have to write all the types of planning. So you have to write all these side headings, and maybe you can write 2 or 3 sentences under each side heading. Only then you will be able to complete the question within the stipulated time. So you can learn all these side headings, and 2 or 3 lines underneath each side heading you have to mention. It can be asked as a 2-mark or 3-mark question also. List down the types of planning. You have to just list down all the side headings if it is asked as a 2 marks. Or sometimes in 3-mark question they will ask, write a note on financial and fiscal planning, or write a note on planning by direction versus planning by inducement. So it can be asked as a 2-mark question, 3-mark question, as well as 5-mark question. So based on the marks, you have to decide what you have to write. Whether you have to write all the side headings, or you have to just list down the side headings, or you have to explain everything. Okay? If they ask explain any 2 types of planning in 5-mark question, then you have to write all the statements which are mentioned in your textbook. Okay? So I will continue in the next video lesson. Thank you, girls.